Welcome to Spiritual Foundations for Life. This is day number 266. Nineveh was a worldly city that was known by the godless nature of its people. Nahum communicated to its inhabitants that God was slow to anger, according to Nahum chapter 1, verse 3, and a refuge for those who trust in him, according to Nahum chapter 1, verse 7. But he would not leave the guilty unpunished, according to Nahum chapter 1, verse 3. The Ninevites never overcame their worldliness, and they were doomed. We also can let our passions and our affections be drawn to the world. For this reason, we're warned in 1 John chapter 2, verse 15, do not love the world or anything in the world. If anyone loves the world, the love of the Father is not in them. As Christians, we're betrothed or engaged to Christ, but we are tempted to commit adultery with the world. As James chapter 4, verse 4 says, you adulterous people, don't you know that friendship with the world means enmity against God? Therefore, anyone who chooses to be a friend of the world becomes an enemy of God. The world seeks to weaken our love for Christ by appealing to our flesh, which desires to live according to the world's values. The temptations of the world, or the temptation of the world, is to satisfy our pleasures and not seek that which pleases God. The world system promotes self-sufficiency, but we have all the resources that we already need to withstand these threats. 1 John chapter 5, verse 4 says, for everyone born of God overcomes the world. This is the victory that has overcome the world, even our faith. In the first sentence of this verse, overcomes is in the present tense. This does not mean that believers never yield to the temptation of the world, but that victory rather than defeat should generally characterize our lives. In the second sentence of this verse, the phrase is has overcome. It's in the past tense, indicating the action was finished and is finished. This is consistent with the truth that when we came to Christ, we were joined to Christ. And as John chapter 16, verse 33 says, Christ is the one who could say, take heart, I have overcome the world. Christ's triumph over the powers of sin belongs to every believer who's alive in him. 1 John chapter 5, verse 5 says, who is it that has overcome the world? Only the one who believes that Jesus is the Son of God. John switches back to the present tense, indicating an ongoing sense of overcoming. That is the daily experiencing of our victory over the world because we are alive in Christ. When we placed our faith in Christ, we became overcomers, and we continue to live like overcomers when we continue to believe all that God says is true. 1 John chapter 4, verses 4 and 6, you, dear children, are from God and have overcome them, because the one who is in you is greater than the one who is in the world. We are from God, and whoever knows God listens to us, but whoever is not of God does not listen to us. Well, because we are in Christ, we can be overcomers also. Jesus said in Matthew chapter 16, verses 26 and 27, what good is it? I'll say that again. What good will it be for someone to gain the whole world, yet forfeit their soul? Or what can anyone give in exchange for their soul? For the Son of Man is going to come in his Father's glory with his angels, and then he will reward each person according to what they've done. So we can store up treasures on earth, or we can store up treasures in heaven. We know we have overcome the world when we look forward to a greater reward than the passing pleasures of this world. Our key point today is that you know you've overcome the world when you look forward to a greater reward than the passing pleasures of this world. And our key verse is 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verses 18 and 19. Do not deceive yourselves. If any of you think you are wise by the standards of this age, you should become fools, so that you may become wise. For the wisdom of this world is foolishness in God's sight. God bless you. See you tomorrow for another episode of Spiritual Foundations for Life.